right, welcome back to the AWO podcast. Are we over? And we got a penguin joining us.
You got a penguin. All right. The penguin is back.
I am Kim Sparkles, and as always, with me are the Phenom Jimmy and the Deaf Chef. Today we are going to be reviewing the week of wrestling, and there was some newsworthy stuff this week. I thought we'd start though by talking about the episodes of this week of Raw, Dynamite, and Smackdown. And on Raw, not a lot of great stuff going on there. My notes I have stuff. Well, my notes I actually have some stupid stuff, some repeat matches. Changed match that was advertised between Orton and Strowman, blah blah blah. So that's
I will start by saying Randy Orton, who I do not like. Also, Randy Orton does not like being part of tag teams. He has not been part of a big one since Rated RKO, which was years ago. He does not like doing it. But to be honest, RK Bro would be awesome. Like the dynamic between Orton and Riddle would actually make me want to watch something with Randy Orton in it. But those two would play off each other so well. Too bad, Randy Orton is a jerk. And so
maybe they're just playing it that way. Maybe it plays out like he's a jerk, and then Riddle gets his respect or something. I mean, maybe that could be a storyline starting.
I mean, it's a real back to Kane Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? Back to saying hell no.
Hell no.
I think that Riddle got the win was cool, but you could just tell like Randy did not want to do that job at all.
Well, I think Randy Orton's about ready for a vacation, and I really think that was kind of part of that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I said the only real noteworthy thing was Riddle's win because it was kind of a surprise. And I thought it was cool that, he beat Orton, and that was one of the only noteworthy things. Other than Alexa Bliss is coming back to singles matches, apparently. She did a story of her little doll Lily and how Lily told her to do bad things when she was little. And
I love the Photoshop WWE stuff. You gotta just love them photoshopping stuff together. It's so
now she's putting the women on notice that Lily's gonna help her to come back and I guess do some protection.
I want two things that stood out to me is I want more Matt Riddle. I'm really into Riddle right now, despite the birds flying out the feet. He's one of the
seen it.
Yeah, one of the few things I like on Raw. I think Riddle in the New Day was a great promo. I would love to see them together. I'd love to see him as an honorary member of the New Day, just because all three of them would be hilarious. Yes. I will say this. I have always been a sucker for open challenges. I love it and Sheamus started to back up again for the United States title, coming out that he's going to have an open challenge every week. When Cena started that, I really dug it. Like, you never know. I'm sure it was Humberto, whatever his name was, but it's like.
But sometimes it was like, what? Who the hell just came out of the woodworks?
You remember Sami Zayn debuted as an open challenge, and people went crazy, and no one saw it coming.
But Sheamus didn't put the title on the line, though. They were trying to talk him into doing it. And he said he would go out and do an open challenge, but not
because
for the
he's
title.
A heel. He's a heel. You got to be a jerk. Yeah, but I always like it. Anything like that to make it a little, just even a tad bit more interesting, is a little better. But Kim's right. I mean, it was 3 hours of nothing. Yeah. Nothing except for Riddle winning.
One other thing was that Charlotte kind of freaked out at the end and got suspended and fined for beating up a ref. So
sorry, I'm thinking about a Charlotte match.
So she apparently is going to be off.
Do you think she looks like a dude too?
Again,
I'm not going to comment on another woman's beauty.
So
Okay.
Corey, did you have any comments about Raw this week?
You just kind of blew through them all. It was like, maybe.
There was nothing.
I like.
No, there was nothing.
I really think I like the idea that maybe this Riddle and Orton thing could just be this. I hate him. Well, he keeps kicking my ass. Well, okay, maybe he's cool. And then they do a tag team for a while. Let's see what happens. Like that. I'm hoping for the future because what right now is just garbage as far as I'm concerned.
RK Bro, just think about it.
RK Bro.
Trying to get Randy Orton, just like with Kane, but trying to get Randy Orton to ride a scooter. Just right there would make me want to actually watch Randy Orton.
I can't.
But I
can't even picture that in my mind.
And then at the end of it all, he still turns on him and Bro kicks him in the head.
Like if you, we'll get to it later on, I'm sure. But it just this week really stuck out to me is how much better SmackDown is right now.
Yes.
Than Raw. It's just unreal how good SmackDown.
Yeah.
And
okay,
by the way, where's hey, no, stop. I need this question answered.
Okay.
Where is AJ and Almost? They won the titles at WrestleMania.
So there was a rumor going around that there was an outbreak of COVID among some of the superstars, and that's apparently, I mean, they've used that as an excuse as to why there was so much repetitive stuff going on between people because they were short-handed on their stars or something.
There's got to be somebody who is doing nothing you could put on TV like Drew Gulak, something.
I like Drew Gulak. He's so good.
Hey, Humberto Carrillo actually got to come out. I mean, granted, he got the crap kicked out of him by Sheamus, but he was out there getting TV time.
I mean, there's just got to be something. I mean, but man, SmackDown is fire right now, and Raw is awful. Yeah.
Well, let's move on. We'll get to SmackDown. Let's talk about Dynamite for a few minutes. So they started off with Ricky Starks and Hangman Page, and I have to say that I really appreciate that AEW kicks off right away without any garbage of people talking and all this stuff. Like they get right into a match,
and it's always
a good one. It's a good one. So I appreciate that. At the end, we got some Taz come out. I'm really sick of Taz. Like I can't stand him, and it's not that he's a heel. Like I've talked about this with the Dev Chef before about there's a difference between a heel because they're good at making you hate them and somebody just being annoying. And you want to go use the bathroom while they're talking.
That's my philosophy with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
I just think Seth Rollins is trying too hard and he's super annoying, just trying to be, I'm the savior or I'm the god of Monday night. And it's not working.
It's not working.
You're boom. But
it kind of looks like they've abandoned that a little bit, and it didn't seem like that's what's happening right now. I think they're kind of back into that.
Let's get into our first controversy of the day. I don't get Hangman Page. He's not entertaining at all. I don't get it. He looks like a ripoff of James Storm when he was hot in TNA. I don't get the whole Western thing. I'm telling you, I've tried.
Shit.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, I love Hangman Page, but I feel like they could do some better things with him. And,
I think they're using it wrong. I think they're totally using a great wrestler wrong. I think that's what it is.
I think that's something.
This incarnation right now.
I'm hoping for some changes with them.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
I want to say that. Why does Trent have a question mark?
Trent? That's what it is. Yes. It's just a stupid gimmick right now like this. The half thumbs up for Orange Cats. It's just like a lazy
I mean, at least hey, we're talking about him. So
I said that maybe somebody accidentally put a question mark after his name and it didn't get caught. It didn't get caught.
But the commentator was like, Trent?
So they just went with it.
Oh, I hope, dear baby Jesus, that's what happened.
That's awesome.
Someone messed up typing in the monitor.
And then they just rolled with it.
But hey, seriously, we're talking about him. Trent.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, in a show,
add another question mark each week, and then an apostrophe.
I like Trent. I love the whole thing with his mom, with Sue,
Yes.
and how Sue has been involved with stuff. So
The minivan getting smashed. It's so
yeah,
that's good stuff.
I like
it's hilarious.
that.
It's good comedy, but it's good wrestling too.
Yeah. So MJF. Let's move.
Hey, we're not. Wait. We're not going to fire you because we're going to use it. You messed up. We're not going to fire you. We're going to keep it.
It's going to be the best thing that ever happened to Trent. Okay, so let's move on to MJF. So MJF.
Wait. The best thing now is no one can ever use this again because everyone will be like, "Oh, they're just ripping off Trent." Yeah. Like no one can ever use.
Nobody. That's so good. That's got to be a T-shirt. Trent?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah. It's probably already out there. We should go check it out on the ProWrestlingTees.com. But okay, so MJF had a killer promo this week. JR interviewed the Pinnacle this week. And I thought it was great. And you know, I'm usually a fan of Jericho with the promos, but Jericho kind of stumbled a little this week with his promo. Didn't seem quite as prepared, or something was distracting him. I don't know, but I
think
felt
the MJF
like
Wardlow back and forth was awesome.
Yeah, MJF and Wardlow going back and forth. I enjoyed it.
All right, but here's the thing. I just thought it went too long. Like
the point he got to at the end should have been right off the bat.
Right. The promo to me.
What were you doing at my age?
Better.
Boom. Yeah, that was.
Promos are always better, short and sweet. Like there's so many times where you could get your point across in a minute and a half versus 4.5 minutes, or even 3.5 minutes. Everything could have been in that interview in under 3 minutes, and it went way too long. You could have had a whole nother match for half of that interview went. And I like MJF. I like the whole thing about Rosie. I think they should use it. But if you research it, like he bashes being on Rosie. Like he talks about how they never promised. They promised him money, promised him a bunch of stuff, and all they gave him was like they gave him a gift certificate to the WWE restaurant, and by the time they got to use it, it was closed in New York, and like they'd say it was just an awful experience. But I love MJF. I thought the interview went too long. I don't like those sit-down interviews because basically only 2 people got to talk, and I don't like
all them people there. Yeah.
Sean Sparks can talk. You know,
that could have totally been just backstage catch him with a mic, and MJF smashes Jericho in like about a minute, maybe 45 seconds, because that end stuff was fantastic. Where he's like, at this age, what were you doing? Crappy house shows and blah, blah, blah. And look at me, I'm main headlining at the same age you were then. So like that was a good stab right there. I thought that was pretty good stuff.
And the ratings were still over 1 million. They went down some, exactly what we predicted. The Austin Broken Skull podcast make me like Jericho more now. Like I've been very anti what Jericho is doing, think, past his prime, but listening to that and his mindset and him coming in and listening, what it was when he was younger and stuff makes me appreciate him more now.
Agreed.
What he's doing, even though I find it super annoying when fans sing along with theme songs.
But he's a rock star. You go to a concert, that's one of his band's songs. I mean, like,
I know.
I get why they're doing it because he's a freaking rock star, man. The guy
that song is the best too. Like I sing along with it at home. Like I love it. You can just tell when he comes out, he is just. It's like drink it in, man.
Drink it in, man.
Like, drink it in for the love, and
I would love to see him be like, drink it in, man. Just one time on there, but he could say it in a different way, like consume it in, man. Like the lexicon of Le Champion instead of the list of Jericho.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. I like it. I like that everybody gets into it. I don't know.
I don't like it when like people would sing Glorious. I didn't like when people would, you know, do Shinsuke's music. I don't like when people, I like
That's
Enzo
your
and
opinion.
Cass.
That's your thing. You don't like it. All right.
When
I get
Enzo
that.
and Cass got, you know, when they were hitting off, it was fun at first, but then it was like they just repeat the same promo over and over to get the crowd repeating with them, and it gets old. And
that's the fun of going to a live match. Anyway, let's move on to women's match. I really thought that the women's match on Dynamite this week was really great. It was Ty Conte against Shida, and Shida won, but I felt like this was a match that really elevated both women. I love Ty Conte. I think that she's a great wrestler, and she's fun to watch. Like, she's got like belts in all kinds of wrestling, judo, not wrestling, judo, karate, whatever. And she's tough for the size that she is, and so I feel like she is adding a lot to the women's division. And then Britt Baker came out at the end to let us know that she is the #1 contender. And I feel like if they do not put the belt on her at the next pay-per-view, then I don't know what they're doing, because they that definitely needs to happen.
You know, it could be the fact, and I'll say this, and I don't know if you'll agree with me or not. I'm not talking about the in-ring ability, but I'm talking that I do feel that WWE puts more of the spotlight on. I mean, they just seem to have bigger stars in the wrestling business right now. I mean, if you and you don't even have Becky there, you know, you don't even have Sasha on TV, but as long as you have a Bayley and an Asuka, you know what I mean? Then you have two women that can carry that division right there. And it just seems like, you know, and we haven't even got into, you know, Rhea Ripley and all that, but I think Rhea Ripley's terrible. She's oddly attractive, but so far I just don't like her. But I just think the match physically was really good. Like, it's a good wrestling match, but I feel like besides Britt Baker or whatever, Britt Baker, they don't have anyone at the upper echelons of a Bayley, Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, Asuka.
But I think Ty Conti could be that person. And, you know, Nyla Rose hasn't been on, but she, you know, she's up there too. I think they have the women. They just need to focus a bit more on developing them.
Yeah. It's part of 2 hours too. If they had 3 hours, you know, there's a lot more. Yeah. But even on SmackDown, it seems that the women are featured more, especially Bayley. I mean, Bayley has improved. Go back and watch when she first showed up as the blow up, you know, happy-go-lucky girl, awful on the mic. She is now on probably the best on the mic of the WWE women.
No.
Why?
I cannot stand Bayley. Bayley is one of my bathroom break people. Like, I feel like she tries too hard to be a heel, and she tries to be funny, and I can't stand her.
She is like the female Sami Zayn.
I mean, I don't even care what Bayley has to say. Like,
the bathroom break for me is every time Randy Orton walks to the ring, because it's a 12-minute. I go to take a poop. Like, it takes him forever to walk from the entrance to the ramp. I mean,
all right,
maybe that's why I don't like him.
Let's stay on track here with Dynamite. So, one thing that happened that I really
I'd love to say something about Dynamite, guys.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to chime in on the women's match about 10 minutes ago, but I think I'm allowed to now. I thought it was a fantastic match. My favorite part, of course, was when Britt Baker came out. I think she is the person on the microphone that the women really need. I think they've been bringing a lot of these other ladies in from other divisions, like Impact and stuff. Honestly, is like, yes, it's work trade where they're like sending them to their matches and this and that, but I think it's more like, okay, who can we get to come here and teach these chicks how to wrestle? Okay, boom, now they know how to wrestle. Now, who can we get here that can teach these chicks on the mic? I see maybe somebody let go from WWE coming over who can really work a mic and help them build their promos.
They have Vicky. They have Vicky.
That's right, I mean, they do.
Vicky's one of the most over females of all time, and she never hardly wrestled. You know what I mean? Maybe not Vicky's signed part-time or by appearance or whatever, but talk about a coach that can teach you how to get heat as a female. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But everything you said was good. I'm sorry. I'm trying to rile him up today.
I can tell.
Well,
Apparently.
Something that I really liked in this episode too, which I don't know, you guys might not like as much as I did, but Moxley and Kingston came out as badass hoodlums this week, and I really liked that. So they ran like this big truck into the Elites, their trailer, whatever. Then went out and they were trying to ransack it. I don't know, everybody was gone at that point, but Kingston took a pair of tennis shoes.
I have a question.
They were fighting over him stealing tennis shoes. What do you got, Def Chef?
They were in the trailer saying, "What's that noise?" 10 seconds later, they run into the trailer with a truck, and poof, just all of them are gone, and you know nothing about what happened to them in the trailer. Were they even there? I think that was dumb. Like I liked them hitting it, but where'd they go? Okay.
Kingston reminds me of when the NWO brought in Brutus Beefcake because he was friends with Hogan. And they tried to have him around all the time as the booty man, and it was just stupid. I don't like Kingston. I think he hurts Moxley. I think Moxley by himself, being that renegade like a Stone Cold or something, would have went a lot better than with Kingston. But that's me. I like what Moxley's like. He's that off the wall crazy guy, even more than Dean Ambrose was. He doesn't need Kingston. It's just, you're my buddy. I'm going to get you on TV, and it doesn't work.
Well, I have to say that Kingston is really good on the mic. I feel like he's really, really good on the mic.
No, he's awful.
I like him. I think that he is.
I go back and forth. Sometimes I think he's good, sometimes not.
It makes sense that they're together. I mean, there was the storyline a while back of where, how they became friends and everything.
I don't care. Do we watch the same show?
Yes, but John Moxley can do no wrong in my mind. He's my favorite.
I have no problem with Moxley. I just think Kingston is not. Okay, so who's the little goofball that runs around with Jericho, the smaller guy? Sammy
Guevara.
Right. Now that guy's a good little sidekick guy. Kingston looks old and out of shape. It doesn't even look like a wrestler. And it just doesn't come across. But that's what I'm just saying. And that flabbergasted me. I think out of everything you've ever said, even more than Jericho's in his prime, you saying that dude, Kingston, was good on the mic.
I think he is. I like him. He's real rough and rough around the edges and everything, but I kind of like that. I kind of feel like, people bash him all the time and say, oh, he's an indies guy that isn't ready for television, but I don't feel that way. I kind of like that about him.
They ain't wrong.
Okay, so Christian Cage had a match, and I know you've been waiting for that, Jimmy. So
at least he had a match. And I taking bumps over the rail onto the floor. You almost don't want him to do it, but you almost feel like he's doing it to prove something. That he can. You know what I mean? It's like when Daniel Bryan came back, Daniel Bryan was jumping through the rope still and doing all the stuff he used to do all the time to dive. And, you would think that Christian would have already passed it, but really it just makes I love seeing Christian, one of my favorites of all time, definitely top 10 favorite, not best, but top 10 favorite. It just makes me mad that the WWE wouldn't even give him a chance.
Right. I totally agree with you there. I love seeing him in the ring again. Maybe he doesn't need to try so hard. We know what he can do. Let him wrestle. Let him get some guys that he's kind of being like, yeah, I got some ideas for you. Let him do a little kind of both sort of thing where he's kind of a manager, kind of wrestles. I think there's so much more they could do with him. Yeah, I mean.
Well, and there's so many people in AEW who needs a mouthpiece, who can't talk. And Christian can talk.
Right. Yes.
Corey, that was perfect. Like he doesn't have to earn anyone's respect. He doesn't have to go out there and flip over the rail and all that. Everyone there already knows how good he is.
It's like Matt Hardy. He can do kind of what Matt's doing. You know, he doesn't have to get hurt. He can wrestle here and there, and get some guys, but be the face version of what Hardy's dumbass has got going on there.
You know what we should do? You know, Christian should just start a faction. Why not? Let's have another one.
They have enough.
All
Why
I have
not?
to say about that is thank God that Christian Cage didn't join Taz, because Taz was trying to get Christian on his group, and oh my God, I was like, please, no. Thank God. So
Starbucks. This episode of AWO is brought to you by Starbucks, even though they don't know that.
So the end of the show I felt like a great match between Darby Allin and Jungle Boy. I'm so happy that Jungle Boy is getting time. Like, I feel like he can be great at some point. Like, I like him a lot, and I felt like this match was finally one where I could believe that Darby Allin and him were kind of, you know, they're similar in size, and they were you know, just had a good back and forth match. I thought that it was excellent, and even though Jungle Boy ended up losing, he still looked great in the defeat. So, Jimmy, what did you think about this match?
I am all for people getting pushed from main event, no matter what they look like, the size and all that stuff. But I will say, I personally would like to see Darby bulk up just a little bit more, like just a tad bit more, like some workout, because he could be like Sting, but Sting was defined. Like, Sting had muscles and abs, and I know that's not Darby Sting, but it would help him from a major like marketing ability for AEW if he was a little more in shape. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's kind of like, you know, Kevin Owens is great, but yeah, Kevin Owens, when he slims down, he's more marketable, you know. But it was a great match. I see how Darby can be a star. I see how Jungle Boy, this is the first time I ever watched him in something. I thought it was excellent. I would have liked to have seen, you know, Christian in the main event or something. But yeah, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I have no problem with his size, but like, he could use a little more.
He looks more professional.
But he would look more professional, like a professional.
If he was honestly maybe defined as like Jungle Boy is defined, he's a smaller guy, but he's ripped. You know what I mean? Like, if he was just the small ripped guy, I get where you're coming from. Yeah.
But look at Benoit. No one doubts Benoit was in shape.
Right. He was tiny.
You know, like Benoit was ripped. Yeah. You know, that's what I'm saying. I agree. I thought it was a great way to end the show. But yeah, I just think it would kind of be a little way just to tweak him a little bit.
He looks a little amateur.
Yeah.
I think Mrs. Penguin needs to be on camera with you. If we hear her, I want to see her get involved. Come on, girl.
You don't even know who we're talking about.
Well,
let's move on. Let's move on to the fact of, and I'm going to say this, whether Kim agrees or not, but SmackDown right now is the best of the big three wrestling shows. Right now, I mean, the road it'll go away in a couple of weeks, but right now, all the top storylines on SmackDown are better than definitely Raw, but better than Dynamite.
I feel the same way, and I don't know why, but I feel like somehow, even though I know this probably isn't true, like, there are two separate groups of people that are putting these shows together, because I don't understand how Raw can be so jank and that SmackDown can be so good, because
unless you know,
separate shows for sure.
You kind of hope and wonder if Heyman's, you know, getting a little input in that, you know what I mean? Like, or maybe they feel more pressure since, you know, it's Fox. It's one of the big four networks and not just USA, you know, even though like 90% of the world has USA, you know, but Fox is free TV. So maybe they feel like they have to put more into those 2 hours, you know, to make it more appealing. Whatever they're drinking over there on SmackDown right now, it's working. And I just want to say right now, I don't want to be excited that Cesaro's actually going to get a main event at any pay-per-view against Roman for the title. Like, just let him have one main event match But
Well,
it
I
looks
have
like they're just going to have.
Yeah, I have some things to say about this. So let's get into Cesaro and that whole thing. So Cesaro actually came out to kick off SmackDown this week, right?
Yes.
I mean, to me, that's phenomenal.
It's a huge deal, but there's a big but here. Cesaro hardly got a chance to say anything. Yeah. Because they inserted Daniel Bryan into the whole storyline, and then Daniel Bryan came out and talked, and not to mention this whole first segment took 45 minutes of the show.
Part of that was a match. Part of it was a match.
Part of it was a match.
But there was a lot to digest in it, though. Okay, there was a lot to talk about. One, the interaction with Roman and Seth, when Roman's like, well, you're going to fight right now. And Seth's like, what? You know, that makes me want to be like, turn Seth face and I will take another program with Roman as the heel, because it was always reversed. Seth is a heel. You know, that kind of made me go, ooh, I'd love to see a little tension there. You know, there was just a lot to digest. Is Daniel Bryan taking time off? You know, poor Jey Uso gets beat up every week. You know, I'm going to say something right now. I don't know when it's going to happen, but eventually, Jey Uso, the fans are going to start treating him like a face. They're going to start treating him like a face soon. They're going to start respecting what he's doing, and they're going to start turning on him. But yeah, Cesaro hardly got to talk. And can we just talk about how much better it would be right now if Cesaro had the James Bond entrance again?
Yes.
Think if he came out,
rip it off
right now. I think even right now, if we had fans in the stands and they hit that right, and he came out again as that, people would go crazy. If they would have done that at Mania, people would have went nuts.
Yeah. Well, my question is, and we'll get to this towards the end because I don't want to give away the ending yet, but I'm questioning at this point, are they already backing off on giving Cesaro the push because of inserting Daniel Bryan into the storyline? And we'll talk about that more in a little bit, but I was happy. I was happy that Cesaro was on the top of the show. I love Cesaro. I really want to see him get the push that he deserves. But this show kind of made me question, what are they doing with Cesaro? Because it's like they push him and then now they're taking a step back. Def Chef, what did you think about that?
The whole thing kind of confused me from the beginning. He comes out, and then Seth comes out and says, you weren't nothing. You were only good because you're with me. And it was funny, but it was kind of true. They put on a great match. That was his heel way of saying, good job, bro. But nobody really picked up on that, but I did. Like, I understand the language, because I think Cesaro broke character just enough to smile there and say, like, thanks, man. You know, but I had to be like, no, of course not. But that was what that was. But then Jimmy comes out, they're going to surround him like velociraptors and sneak up on the side of him. And they should have let him take them two on and kick their asses. I think that would have been better. And then Daniel Bryan comes out. Let him get a little fight in first. They should have done that. Like, you always got to let the fight break out before somebody comes saves, and they didn't do that.
And Cesaro being so limited on the mic, that would have been great. Like,
I don't think he really is limited on the mic. I think he can talk.
He is one that lives on his wrestling style and what he can do that no one else can do. And I don't know. That's why I said the first thing I wanted to say was, I don't want to get excited about this, but you just can't want Cesaro to get that main event shot at least once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, just like it's almost the same feeling you have with when Dolph got to cash it in, the same feeling you had when Kofi got it, the same feeling you got when Daniel Bryan got it. You know, you just want that guy to get
I did like with Seth Rollins, the little kind of rub that was going on between him and Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns came out and he was like, yeah, you two go fight, you know, him, whatever. And Seth Rollins I just loved his facial expression. He's like, looking back and forth like, what are you doing?
He's like, you're not the head of my table, pal.
Yeah.
So
So that was awesome. And I don't know, maybe they're gonna
that was
kind of feud going on,
awesome.
but
right now, I don't know. Just like, pre WrestleMania, for those few months, I would say Alexa Bliss is probably the best thing in wrestling. Right now, Roman's the best thing going. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, he is on fire. Yeah. I mean, he is doing everything right as a heel. Like, I don't know if it's who's teaching him or what, but man, it is gold. And
it's Heyman, it reminds me. It is
of,
Heyman.
Well, it reminds me of the ascension of when The Rock first turned heel, but Roman can't talk nearly as good as The Rock. But it's eventually all going to rotate. You have to be a strong heel before you can be a strong face. I've always believed that, with the exception of Kofi. Well, I mean, technically, Kofi got way bigger after the New Day were heels, and so, yeah, Roman's the best thing going right now.
I feel like Roman is getting. I mean, I feel like he's way better on the mic than he was a while back. Like,
remember that time that Cena just told him it's called cutting a promo, learn how to do it? Like, that was probably the moment in his mind that turned that he wanted to.
You want to talk about money, like absolute money, man. Just imagine Cena coming back for just a 2-month run against Roman. Imagine The Rock coming back for a 2-month. I mean, that Roman has been built up so much now that it's just going to blow the roof off if they could ever get Cena to come back or Rock to come back for a match,
Well, let's move forward and talk a little bit about the women on SmackDown. And I feel like they need to get some more women involved in what's going on in SmackDown. Like, it's the same thing over and over and over. The only women
or maybe it's COVID, like, because like,
it could be that. It could be that, but the only women we're seeing right now are Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. We see Lana on there, and Naomi occasionally, and we're seeing Tamina and Natalya, and that's pretty much
Bailey.
it.
And Bailey talking.
Bailey talking, but not wrestling.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like it is getting so boring. I'm sick of seeing the same people over and over and over again. I know they have
tag matches. It's
all tag matches.
And I know that they lost Lacey Evans because she's pregnant, and they've had.
But where's Bianca at? I mean, she was in that little sketch.
Well, isn't she on Raw or is she on SmackDown?
No, she won SmackDown
she's
title.
On SmackDown. You're right. Right. Yeah, and she hasn't really been on other than that.
She just had that little interaction with the Prophets backstage, and
that was pretty good. That was funny.
No, it was, and they're gonna split Prophets up soon. You know what I mean? You don't even know who the other one is. You know Montel, and that's it. Like, you don't even know who the other guy is. Like,
I like them both, though. I do.
I like them.
I want to see him build the second guy. You were so right last week when you were like, it's always one is stronger than the other. And that's so true. It's always been that way. But then there are those iconic tag teams that have stuck out over the years that were great together. And it'd be cool to see them be that. But you're right. They're not. They're not.
Look at the Hart Foundation, how big they were. But I mean, you could tell back then when I was a child, Bret Hart's way better than Anvil Neidhart. I mean, you could just tell. Can we go ahead and talk about Aleister Black?
We have one more thing before we get to Aleister Black, and that
we're going straight to Aleister, unless we're talking about Drew Gulak.
We're talking about KO, and I have to just mention that KO did a swanton bomb this week, and it was so, like, when he lands on people, he lands on them, and he did a swanton bomb from the top right on, and I was just like, oh no, like that.
No matter how tough you are, that's got to hurt.
Kevin Owens is probably at this point the most underrated and underutilized superstar on any show.
Yeah.
Like, he can talk, and for his size and stature and the way his body looks, it is amazing what that guy can do.
Yeah.
Like, and he is so, like, right now, so lower on the echelon right now. And granted, Roman is red hot, but, you know, he's not even in that upper echelon. Even on Raw, it's like, pin him back over there and let him go against Lashley. You know what I mean? I love Drew and everything, but Kevin is better on the mic, and a better wrestler than Drew is.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think a shakeup might be coming soon.
Let's hope.
Yeah,
let's
that's
hope
true.
So.
So now we can talk about Aleister Black, and Aleister Black has a new story that with really good creepy graphics, which I loved. So
I will say, man, it was put together so good.
It was.
I mean, it looks professional, and you can actually see for once time was spent on something the WWE did, you know. But here's my question. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Is Aleister Black going to be the next Undertaker, or is he going to be the next Gangrel? You know what I mean? Is he just going to be some, flash in the pan, vampire, creepy guy that's around for a while? Or is he going to be that upper echelon, Mankind, Undertaker type of creepy, Bray Wyatt type of, well, no, let's hope so. And he has it. He deserves it. But what are they going to do? I was
never a Gangrel fan. I mean, God, the guy finally, after 38 years, took his fangs out. He's a regular guy now. After all these years, he finally got them damn fangs
I actually
removed.
do know a little bit about that.
But listen. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Are they? I don't know.
There will never be another Taker. I don't care what anybody says.
But you know what I mean?
There will never be another Taker.
But compare him to Mankind, or is he going to be that upper echelon creepy guy, or is he just going to be, just another creepy guy for a while, and then they turn him into a comedy act or something? But
I don't know. But I thought that they did an excellent job in doing this whole storyline with him. And I don't know, what if Aleister Black and Alexa Bliss join together now? Like,
leave Alexa alone.
They've both got the creepy stuff going on. No.
Even if it's just a cross paths in the back, like a nod, and that's it.
But I'm just saying, like, what they did with Aleister Black is perfect for network television. Because if you're just scrolling through network television and you see wrestling, but you come across that promo and you're like listening to him in that story, sitting in the dark, it's perfect for network television. It's more dramatic. It was more professionally produced. It looked solid. And look how much we're talking about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It really, really worked. I think, and this is going to sound crazy, I think it worked better than the premiere of the Funhouse with Bray Wyatt. I thought this was better. I mean, when the Funhouse first hit, you're like, but everyone was talking about it worked. But I thought this looked better. I thought he delivered it better. And I think it's more intriguing than anything at the beginning. I mean, it's been one of the best, rebranding, re-debuts in a long, long time.
Yeah. Now let's just hope they don't drop the ball on this whole thing and it just go.
Oh no, they will. They will. Just right now.
Okay, well, let's get into the ending segment. And
no, I got something to say. Okay, so I don't know if we ever want to start something where we try to make a bold prediction or whatever. But here's my bold prediction. In about 6 months, Apollo Crews is going to be hot. Like, this thing can work with what he's doing. And I can actually see him to the point where he is so over as a heel with that IC belt that people flip on him and they start to like him. So my bold prediction
that's kind of what happened with the New Day. When the New Day first started, it was
everybody had to shove it down your throat first, but it worked.
And then now look how over.
But I'm just saying, I saw, and here's why, because the big guy with the little guy watching his back's been proven time and time again. But here's the difference with this right now. Apollo Crews is a freak of an athlete.
Yep.
And I don't even think they've shown everything he can do. I think he still has tricks and stuff that he hasn't shown. So my bold prediction is now, 6 months from now, we may look back and go, no one saw that coming. Apollo Crews is huge now. But I mean, it's better than what he's doing now.
All right.
All right.
We'll come back to this video
let's talk about Drew
in
Gulak.
6 months. Okay. So let's talk about this last segment. And it was kind of a twist.
Talking about Rey Mysterio? Are we talking about Rey Mysterio?
No, we're gonna skip over Rey Mysterio.
Oh well, I just want to say Chad Gable deserves better. Otis deserves better.
Yeah,
Otis should never be a heel.
It's like
right.
It's
Come
a
on.
repeat. Like every week, they're just repeating this whole thing, and like I don't.
And Chad Gable should be the next Daniel Bryan, that little spunky guy who can actually wrestle. You know, that's what he should
got
be.
real cred, like wrestling cred. He's your next Kurt Angle. You know what I mean? Like he's really should have been that guy a long time ago.
I don't know. You've heard Austin say no one's took to the business as fast as Angle did. You know, but he is like he's a legit athlete. He can be like Dolph. Dolph is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame for actual wrestling. You know,
I feel like they don't like I feel like WWE doesn't like Gable enough to really push him like that. I just
and let him go. Let him go.
We're kind of getting off topic, but like going back from when he was with American Alpha, like they kind of took Jason Jordan and was trying to push him.
Jordan was terrible.
They pushed him and not Gable, and then they slapped Gable with the Shorty G gimmick, which just took him back, and it was horrible. And now I feel like
I wouldn't watch anymore while he was Shorty G, and I did until he wasn't.
And him and Otis now are kind of like, you know, more of like a comedy bit. And so I feel like Gable, you're right, he deserves better than what he's getting, but I don't ever really see that happening. Because
then let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go to AEW. He could be on AEW, but man, if he went to Impact, he would be the top person there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But Otis, I don't know what meeting happened and what idiot said, let's turn Otis heel. Like, that was the dumbest thing ever. Like, why? Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know.
I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No,
you're
not
totally
at all.
right.
I mean,
we're barely touching on this.
It's going back to what we were talking about, though. Like, there are separate people that are making decisions. I don't know how their whole booking process and writing process works, but it's messed up.
You realize that we've talked more about Chad Gable and Otis than we did all about the entire show of Raw.
Well, let's move on to finally, can we talk about the final match of SmackDown, or the final segment of SmackDown, I should say. So Cesaro at the beginning wanted to have a match against Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan went to Adam Pearce and said, make this match happen. Adam Pearce, you know, of course, is, you know, always has to act like he's afraid of Roman Reigns and, I don't know if I can do it. And so at the end, you know, Cesaro's out there with Daniel Bryan, and they're totally taunting Roman Reigns and like saying all this stuff about how he's scared to come out and, you know, all of this stuff, and they just want an answer.
You didn't like it?
So what? Oh, you're talking about
sorry, my wife. Sorry.
So Roman Reigns then comes out and basically tells Cesaro that he's not giving him a match, but that he wants Daniel Bryan because he can't stand Daniel Bryan, and that he wants Daniel Bryan to go away. And so he's going to have a match with him. And if Bryan loses, then he has to leave SmackDown.
Okay,
and
so I will say this.
One more thing. We know that Daniel Bryan has been going around on, you know, social media and everything, saying that his contract is almost up and that he doesn't know what's going to happen and where he might end up. So that's been put out there. So we know that it's a good possibility that he is not going to be on SmackDown anymore. Will he be on Raw? We don't know.
Okay, I don't know. So who's Roman going to face? Who's Roman going to face at Backlash? But I mean, talk about an exciting normal week of television.
Yeah.
You know, hey, we're gonna have a loser leaves SmackDown match, or
No, Roman
not a
doesn't have to
loser
leave if he
leaves.
loses. He just loses the
Right.
title. Only Daniel has to lose. So this is
And so
either
maybe
going to be a
needs
Daniel
break,
Bryan push, or
but
he's taking a vacation. You know,
I mean, you could drag out Roman against Cesaro all the way till SummerSlam. You know, SummerSlam is only 3 months away. They've dragged out worse things before, and you know, if you're going to give them a shot, give them a shot at one of the big four.
right?
You know what I mean?
SummerSlam
being the lesser of the four. You know, because I think Survivor Series is
and they,
bigger.
like I mentioned before, they kind of had that little thing going on between Rollins and Roman, where, you know, that could be something that comes later on as well.
That's money, because the last time they did that, you know, Rollins was that had the title AAA protege. That's been a long time ago, and Roman was that fake man. Switch it up. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But so overall, SmackDown's hot right now. I'm getting more into AEW and appreciating it more. Raw is terrible and hard to sit through 3 hours. And I do not know why Bobby Lashley has the Universal title. I could literally name 15 other wrestlers who would be better with the Universal title. I would take Randy with the Universal title over Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's just terrible. You know?
I'm not a Lashley fan either.
The only thing that Monday. So when I turn on Raw, the only thing I go, I hope I see Matt Riddle. I hope I see the New Day. I hope I see Asuka, and that's about it.
Yeah. Def Chef, do you have thoughts on SmackDown or the week as a whole?
There's a lot to unpack. It's, you know,
and we haven't even got to the news of the trash bags yet.
Oh geez.
I mean, how am I mean, and you know it's true, because Mickey just put it out there. She leaves the WWE, and they send her leftover stuff she left at the Thunderdome back in a trash bag.
Like taking out the trash. Like that's just and then somebody lost their job, and we're wondering if that's what it's all about, you know?
She's gonna be a Hall of Famer someday.
Apparently she's not the only one that happened to. And, you know, immediately they came out with statements from Triple H and from Stephanie saying, like, this isn't, you know, we don't condone this. This isn't what we do, you know, everything. And then on Friday, we found out that Mark Carrano was fired, along with a bunch of other people, which, you know, their names haven't been publicized as much. But Mark Carrano is like the director of talent relations or something. And basically, I look at him as like the fall guy for Vince, because
middleman between Vince and
he's like
stars.
The middleman. You have to go through Carrano to get to Vince, and he delivers all the bad news to people and tells them, you know, this is what you're going to be doing, or we can't do this right now, and blah blah blah.
Right, and you first notice him in that Breaking Ground show, that he's the one that would come in to NXT people and say, you know, hey, we're moving you up, or hey, we're letting you go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
well, he's on, I know you guys don't watch this, but on Total Divas, he's on there quite a bit, because the ladies go and talk to him about, you know, things that are going to happen and everything. So, you know, you kind of got to see how he worked through that show. But, you know, with him gone, a lot of people, former wrestlers and current wrestlers, have come out. Gail Kim was one that came out and said, finally, he's gone and people should be happy because he was not a good person. Ryback came out and said this was one of the best things that WWE has done. And so there was a lot of reaction by people about this. And I guess, you know, it is because Carrano is like the bad guy in WWE, and they all had to deal with them.
Yeah, but you know what? It takes a special individual to send people's belongings. That doesn't even happen in the real jobs at like McDonald's and stuff, but not a publicly traded company who's been around for years. I'm going to put their stuff in a trash bag and then put it in a box and send it to them. Like, I mean, first of all, can we just respect the snot out of Mickey James for just putting it up there? Like, she could have easily said, oh, this is going to hurt my chances of ever coming back, Hall of Fame, but come on, kudos to her for that, because what kind of idiot does that? That's a special type of flawed individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a good look for WWE, for WWE.
You know, and that's why it came out so bad. I mean, it's one of those times when you go, well, you know, that's why the statements came out so fast from Stephanie and Triple H, because they're like, how did this even happen? Like, it's one of those things where you're like, people have no common sense in the world. Like,
is this the way it's been going on forever? And somebody just finally pointed it out, and like they never knew. Like, Stephanie and Triple H and Vince never knew it was being handled that bad, because he isn't as involved with the boys and girls as he used to be. I mean, like, honestly, how you let it get to the point where you're literally telling them we're throwing you out with the trash.
I will tell you this though, if Mark Carrano ever writes a book, I'm gonna read it. Like, he probably has so much stuff on the inner workings of So I just want to do a little plug for anyone who ever watches this. Read Justin Roberts' book on wrestling, because it's one of the best wrestling autobiographies there is. Also, strangely, Pete Gass from the Mean Street Posse's book is really good too. A little plug there. Maybe they'll hear that one day and Justin Roberts will be like, I want to come on this podcast. This guy just said it was one of the best books ever. So,
I like Justin Roberts. I really like it.
No, you got to read that book though. It's a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
All right.
So
okay,
anyway.
So another news story that came out this week, not as big as the trash bag story, but Snoop Dogg came out and said that after his AEW appearance, that WWE told him that they were going to push pause on him. And he had been talking to them about being a part of the next video game from WWE. And he was supposed to be a part of it. They made him an offer, and then they told him, we're going to push pause on you. And the whole thing was that Snoop Dogg was on the TBS show with Cody Rhodes together, the Big Show, and they were
the Go Big Show,
the Go Big Show, right? And they were, both on that show together, and they TBS actually asked Snoop Dogg to go on to that show to AEW to promote, to like cross promote the Go Big Show, and that's why he was on there. So then WWE came back to him later and said, okay, we understand what's going on. We're going to go ahead and move forward with you. And kudos to Snoop Dogg. He was like, well, now that this has happened, you're going to pay me double. And that's what he got. So that was a really interesting story, I thought. Snoop Dogg, had been,
he's a Hall of Famer.
He's Sasha Banks' cousin as well.
Supposedly. Is that real? Or is that
no, that is real. That is
okay.
Real.
Okay.
And
I didn't know if that was
did
real
her
or what.
music. He came out, and I think at WrestleMania.
But Roman and Usos aren't real cousins, and so it is.
But
Nia
like
Jax
second marriage,
related.
blah blah blah.
Nia Jax is related to The Rock, but it's not like first cousins, But here's what we're gonna say: anyone who's like a true wrestling fan, who could care less?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
first of all,
just a wrestling.
There is no one at home right now going, darn it, Snoop Dogg wasn't going to be in a video game? Well, I'm not buying that now.
True.
They just better not rush the video game again. It is
wrestling news. And then finally there is another story that's kind of a big news this week, and that is that Ronda Rousey is pregnant.
Why? She doesn't wrestle anymore. Who cares?
Well, everybody feels like they were waiting. It's kind of like the Becky Lynch thing. They were waiting for her to come back And as long as she wasn't pregnant, everybody thought, oh, she's going to come back. She's going to come back. She's going to come back. And she
Yeah, I
had
never thought she
said
was.
she wanted to have a baby, and that's why she left. And she, you know, now she's pregnant, and people are going crazy because they're like, oh, well, now we have to wait for her to have the baby, and then is she going to come back? Because people just want to see her come back.
People,
So
you mean people are sitting at home wanting Ronda Rousey to come back to wrestling?
Yes.
I don't know these people.
I'm not,
Yes.
but there are a lot that
There
talk
are a
about
lot
it.
of
Now,
people.
congratulations, girl. I'm all for anybody having a baby and bringing a baby in the world. That's not the issue. The issue is I don't care. I forgot about it. It's been almost 3 years now. Like, who cares? Like, she had a good, you know, but I mean,
yeah, there are people out there that are
there
that
people.
care.
More people right now want Bad Bunny to come back to wrestle than Ronda Rousey.
Yes,
That is the quote.
I want
There's
that.
the quote of the. There's
I
the
want
quote
that.
of the show.
Why not?
For the Phenom Jimmy and for the Deaf Chef, I am Kim Sparkles. Thank you for watching today. Please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, and share this video with other people that you think would enjoy it, because we want to get over. So thank you, and we will see you in the next video.